you must get married before you get left behind. And if you get too old, nobody wants you. You must be chosen. But that's not what the purpose of marriage is. If you yourself are not reading your 5 times salah, you honestly have no business getting married. Tasneem. And she asks, I want to know if you could give a list of questions to ask a prospective candidate. She's talking about marriage. She says, one that you told was, what's your vision for the Akhirah is on point. And this is something that I think not enough people think about. And I wish I knew this when I was younger, of being Akhirah focused when you are choosing a partner. This has more to do than just choosing someone who reads their 5 times daily salah is the bare minimum, you guys. It is the bare minimum. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that if you yourself are not reading your 5 times salah, you honestly have no business getting married. And I'm going to tell you why. If you are not committed enough, disciplined enough to do your fard obligation when it comes to Allah, you are not going to be able to do your fard obligation when it comes to another insan. If you don't have that fear of Allah that pushes you to go, or that even that love of Allah that pushes you to go and pray 5 times a day, if you don't have that ability to push yourself to do that, it's going to be very hard for you to be the person you need to be in your marriage. And the same goes both ways. If you're speaking to a man and he's not disciplined enough in that, he is not going to be disciplined enough in being a good husband, the kind of husband that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is requiring him to be. So 5 times salah, that's the bare minimum. Because I'm drinking peppermint tea and it is so delicious. Oh, because there are plenty of people who do read their 5 times salah. May Allah guide us and grant us goodness. But the akhlaq is not in order. There may be a man out there who's reading his 5 times salah, but the way he views women, the way he views marriage is not in alignment with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's law. 5 times salah is just the beginning. It is time for us to shift our perspective of the purpose of marriage. Too many of us have believed what our community has said, which is you must get married before you get left behind. And if you get too old, nobody wants you and you must be chosen. But that's not what the purpose of marriage is for. As a Muslim, if you are getting married with your Akhirah goals in focus, then marriage is about, first and foremost, being responsible enough with yourself to say, am I ready? Am I emotionally ready for the task of being responsible for the amana of being a husband or a wife? It is an amana. It is a huge responsibility for both parties. And especially men. Allah has given men 1 degree of responsibility higher than women. So the responsibility is very great. So when you're Akhirah focused, it's first asking about the readiness. The second thing is also looking for a partner who's going to help you strive towards Jannah. And this goes well beyond just reading your 5 times salah. This goes into how you treat each other. If you're treating each other badly, if you're fighting all the time and not gaining the emotional intelligence skills, tools to know how to disagree peacefully, how's that impacting your life? If you're in a marriage where your husband is not a safe space for you emotionally and you are constantly walking on eggshells, that impacts how you're able to treat your children because now you're stressed out. And a lot of people grew up in these kinds of environments. You're stressed out and you're shouting at your children and there's no sakina in the home and they're unsafe and they develop trauma. And then is that helping you reach your Akhirah goals? I don't think so. So when you're talking about your Akhirah goals, if you're in a marriage where you don't discuss finances openly and your husband goes and takes out a loan, he engages in riba, now you are living in a household consuming haram, consuming something where interest is involved. That is compromising your Akhirah big time. And if you feel too afraid to have that conversation with your husband or he's not open to having those conversations, that is directly compromising your iman and your Akhirah and your relationship with Allah. I can create a checklist for you guys if you want me to, specific talking points. But I want you to understand what the whole thing is. Those checklists are not just nice to haves. They are important things in terms of your Akhirah. And my camera capacity is about to run out. So I'm going to leave you with this. Let me know in the comments how this has landed for you. I'm sending you so much love and du'as. Take care.